Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Trek. Big shout out to everybody that is just tapped in, man. Shout out to all the fam and the members. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. A conspiracy can be created at the drop of a dime, so do make sure to do your homework and don't believe everything that you see. Before we get into any of that, do me the biggest favor and hit that like button for me, hit that hype button, and subscribe if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, man. And let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Hey, Tara. Before we activate this, can you say anything for us? Just something. Doesn't matter. Just let me get a baseline.
Hi, my name is Tara Rule, and this isn't weird at all.
Activating now. What language was that?
I don't know. It kind of looked like she became possessed for about 10 seconds.
I get an offer for $40 million for an NDA. And
From whom?
from Elon.
Okay.
And so when you're
An NDA, like to never say anything about him ever?
non-disparagement into eternity.
Okay.
40
40 million.
million. So it was 15 million
When was
lumps.
this?
This was December of 2024.
Okay.
And it was 15 million lump and then 100K a month for 20 years, 21 years. So little over 40 million. And in that moment, you have to make a choice. You're like, do I want to be a good person? And there's like very hyperbolically, people talk about like selling your soul in Hollywood and politics, but they never talk about the moment that you're presented with that offer. And to me, like that was that offer.
Wow.
It was like, sell your soul, take away your voice. No matter what I do, you won't be able to speak about it, but you'll have $40 million. You'll be materially comfortable. Your kids will be taken care of. And so that was right away. I said no.
Let's get into the Elon Musk situation. And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I'm just dying to know some details like girl to girl. Was the baby in vitro or old fashioned?
No, it was not in vitro.
So you all had sex to conceive the baby.
It was not in vitro.
Artificial insemination?
No, I think that would still be in vitro. I don't want to, discuss the sex life because I know his attorneys will be like furiously writing, but
Right. Okay.
they're
And
very mad at me all the time. So.
did you observe him using drugs?
Yes.
And is this pretty much like a daily addiction?
I wasn't around him daily, but there were multiple instances where I was around him and he used drugs. And he even texted me saying, Wall Street Journal did this piece saying I'm high all the time. I'm a little high.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now we gotta go help him. Stop, but sorry, buddy.
There's a French grocery store that has a pulley system for workers to help them relieve strain and stress while they're working. But what's more surprising than that somehow is the fact that they're all sitting. This is something we rarely ever see in the United States. I didn't even recognize she was working in a grocery store at first look at this video.
Okay, so I have a question. You know how the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is on Hollywood Boulevard, it's about 2 miles long, with a bunch of famous celebrities, actors, actresses, musicians, and artists. Their names are in stone up and down Hollywood Boulevard. And I do find it interesting that in the past, we would look to the stars for guidance, and now we have Hollywood stars, which, for the vast majority of the masses, they guide them. In a good way, I'm not so sure. But here is something that is very strange you may not have known. Are you aware that astronauts, such as Neil Armstrong, Edwin, and Michael, are also in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is usually reserved for actors and actresses and musicians and artists, but some astronauts are also on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, notably Apollo, the one that allegedly went to the moon, and apparently because they made such a big contribution to the television industry, that's why they got their names in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is usually for actors. I'm just saying that is pretty crazy, eh? But I'm sure this is nothing.
Morbid Facts, Part 981. At 14 years old, Megan Dixon suddenly lost the ability to walk after developing a rare neurological condition in Cambridgeshire, England. Over the following years, her condition worsened so severely that her legs became permanently locked straight and eventually bent backward at unnatural angles, leaving her in constant pain and unable to stand or sit normally. After years of paralysis, seizures, hospitalization, and unsuccessful attempts to reverse the damage, doctors determined her knees were beyond repair. At just 21 years old, she's now preparing to have both legs amputated in hopes of finally regaining some independence and ending the chronic pain that has dominated much of her life. In 2016, heavy rains hit Dhaka, Bangladesh just after Eid al-Adha, an Islamic holiday that commemorates Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his own son in obedience to God. During the celebration, hundreds of thousands of animals were sacrificed across the city. Blood from the animals mixed with floodwater and overflowed into the streets, creating what many people called rivers of blood. Photos of entire roads running red spread across the world and drew criticism from animal rights advocates, who argued that the scale of the slaughter was disturbing and inhumane.
Imagine going to work in the morning as usual, but you hear a noise behind you when you're locking your door, and you look at the hallway and nothing is there. But security camera captures something very different. It captures an entity that disappears when you look at it. Initially, you might think it's a little person, perhaps, that was entering at the same time, looks disfigured, and just went into a door, but this humanoid entity disappears. It doesn't go inside anywhere. So I don't know what exactly it could be, but what are your guesses? The scary part is that this person would have never found out had there been no cameras. Maybe sometimes it is better if you just never find out. Good night.
No, I think it's better to know if you have interdimensional beings in your hallway. I think that's important to know.
Did you know that Jeff Bezos' grandfather was one of the founders of DARPA? You know, the federal agency that created the internet. Did you know that his mother got pregnant with him out of wedlock? Yeah, she was 16 and a half. She would then go on to marry his biological father, and that would only last 17 months. She would then go on to marry Miguel Bezos, which is where Jeffrey got his name. But it's interesting that Grandpa had such ties to military intelligence, and then, oh, magically, his grandson creates Amazon and has a whole crap load of money. How much you want to bet they were schmeasons? Usually in the 60s, an unwed mother would be forced to give up their child, but instead, the biological father, who was 18 at the time, would marry her, which is honorable, right? I just find those ties to the grandfather's occupation so very interesting. And I tell you, they moved around a lot. I found a lot of records on Ancestry. We're talking New Mexico, Texas, Florida, Washington. I think Washington State, not D.C. And his grandpa was in the Navy, working for all those, intelligence agencies.
Of the whole UFO community right now is there are people channeling these things, thinking this is so great. You're calling on demons and evil ones to now follow you home, attached to you, and now you're inviting them into your home, into your families, to affect your children, your families, your friends, your loved ones.
UFOs and life on other planets. Could there be? Sure there could be. We don't know. The church has said there's nothing incompatible with the faith about believing that there's life on other planets. So sure, you could believe that and be a good Catholic. I personally don't think there is. My mother did, my sainted mother, God bless her. She was convinced there were UFOs and aliens on other planets. Fine, whatever. But there's a danger here, and I want to raise that, as an exorcist, I want to raise that danger. And that is that demons like to hide. They don't want us to know they're around. They don't want us to know what they're doing because they're more effective when we don't realize it. And they can kind of get into your head, and manipulate things in the world to influence us to do evil. Demons indeed can break into the physical world, and at times they can be seen. We actually have some photos of such things, and that we have documented that. Sometimes people will see shadow men. Many people who are possessed will see indistinct dark shadows, possessed houses, globes of light. There's no question in my mind, personally, again, this is not de fide, but it's my personal belief that probably many, if not most, of these UFO sightings are in fact demons, and they can do things that we can't do, such thus the speed and all sorts of things that human beings can't do.
What would you do if you saw this in the distance? It started as a normal ATV ride through the remote wilderness of Gum Hill, quickly turned unsettling after two friends noticed a tall humanoid figure who can suddenly be seen slowly wading across the river in the distance. Almost immediately, the friend begins pointing frantically towards the figure, shouting for his friend to look. This immediately sparked a debate among viewers online, with many claiming that the incident looked staged, almost as if they were expecting the figure to come out center shot. And also, what is the chance that Bigfoot would calmly just walk close to a group of people operating an ATV? Although there are skeptics, this video has not been proven to be fake, and it continues to divide viewers online.
Go.
Chinese engineers tried to solve the problem of excess water and eventually created one of the largest artificial waterfalls in the world. In Guizhou province, water flows down from the mountains all year round. During construction of a bridge across the Huajiang Canyon, engineers discovered powerful underground flows of karst waters. This could have become a serious problem, but instead of simply diverting the water, they decided to use it differently. A huge reservoir was built high in the mountains. When it overflows, the water isn't diverted through ordinary pipes. It's discharged directly from the bridge, and the water wall stretches approximately 300 meters in width. It's almost as if an entire Empire State Building, frozen horizontally above the canyon, were falling from the sky simultaneously. What was once an engineering problem has turned into one of the most surreal man-made spectacles. Today, there is not only a bridge here, but also observation decks, glass walkways, and tourist attractions. Chinese engineering once again shows its level, transforming problems into art and the forces of nature into a mesmerizing spectacle.
Experts are now saying that by 2037, most of construction on large construction sites will be fully automated, just like this machine here. This is in China, and these machines are developing far faster than they thought, and they're a lot better in a safer industry that they thought may not get taken over. The same thing with artists. When they thought AI first came out, the artists would be safe. They're not safe. These machines, this one here, will paint, plaster, the whole lot. It'll do the sanding, everything. They've got machines that put up jib board. They've got machines that do the packing and sending it, the automatic trucks. The factories are going automated. It's not a safe industry. I don't think any industry is safe. I don't know what's going to happen after it all goes automated, but it's starting to happen pretty quickly.
This is the first time I ever seen a raccoon trying to play tag with somebody. Tagged him and then did. He was not.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a living ET in a government facility somewhere?
No, you see, this is the mistake everyone makes. What government? Which government?
Well, somewhere. You're saying that someone has a living ET in a cage somewhere. That's what you're saying.
Well,
right?
A number of them, yes.
Okay.
More than one. Because when they down these craft, sometimes they crash to smithereens, but sometimes they have a sort of a hard to soft landing, and they capture the ET beings. So the operators, the Delta Force guys and the contractors who are at some of these sites have told me that they have those in their custody, but they're in underground facilities, which is horrible, but.
Okay, so what do these ETs eat? How do you sustain their life?
I have no idea. I'm sure they figure that out, and they go on. I mean, that's not something I have information on that's credible. I've heard various rumors, but I wouldn't hang my hat on anything I've heard. But I would have my hang on the fact that we have downed at least 1,000 to 2,000 ET craft. Many of them have had living creatures on them, and I'm talking about over the decades. And those craft have been reverse engineered, and the genetics of those ETs, living and dead, have been used to create knockoff fake ETs that have been used in psychological warfare operations such as abductions and mutilations and other nonsense. The other problem that's come to the attention, that we brought to the attention of law enforcement, there's a huge program using man-made UFOs, triangular ones, octagonal ones, others, in human trafficking and child trafficking. So they're used in rather gruesome criminal enterprises, and this is known by extremely senior people in the administration and in law enforcement. That's all I'm going to say.
The Carey tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I can't say that. Tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The university student procured an off-campus accommodation via the platform Unishack. Unishack does that?
Now, I know IQs have been dropping, but I just can't believe that that's what's going on college campuses. I just hope that's capped.
So remember this guy, the admiral who went on Fox News, and the whole world was convinced this guy was wearing a mask. I mean, just look at it. You could literally stick your finger through that gap. But Fox News didn't say anything. This guy didn't say anything. But someone finally had him on his show, and they asked him, can you just pull your face a little bit for us? What was going on in that interview? And just listen to what he says.
Admiral, I wanted to bring up this before we even talk about Iran. Everybody, I mean, you broke the internet known as Mask Man. Can you pull on your face or something for me, sir? What was going on there?
Grant, it's just a distraction from the important subject we want to talk about Iran. And at a time like now, we need to be focused on that problem with the president. He's got a challenge on his hand. Got a
Admiral, hold on a second. You realize if you answer like that, this is going to send the internet into the stratosphere if you don't tell me what was going on. And you know I love you, and I know you're an American hero, and I don't think you were wearing a mask. But just tell me something so I can let the internet be happy, and then we can move on here.
Grant, the internet's not my problem, okay? I'm here to talk about Iran. The internet's going to do what the internet wants to do, and I'll let it be at that. But let's not lose track of what's important here, where we are with Iran.
Hold on, real quick. Can you just give me a tug and then I'll move on? Just
Grant,
one little tug.
No, you're not going to get anything on me. I'm not going to justify any of that.
All right. Just so everyone out there knows, I tried unlike Fox News, they didn't ask you about it, which was crazy. I think there's like 60 million, 80 million views on this thing. But I'll let you off the hook, Admiral, because you are an American hero. You really are, sir. And I'm having a little fun with you. And I apologize if I put you in a bad spot. But
his answers were pretty evasive. I mean, he could have gave some kind of clarity there, but I don't know. Definitely drop it in the comments and let me know what you think.
If you need a scientific reason to push negative people away from you, this is it. Studies have proven something called emotional contagion, where stress can be passed from one person to another. So by spending time around stressed out negative people, you can become more stressed out, which can actually lead to you becoming more sick.
So where does that lead us by 2030?
2030, we will see nations at civil war. America is going to be at civil war because Donald Trump represents the nationalists, MAGA, right? He represents Silicon Valley, the tech people, and he's going to try to implement their vision. But the financial people are not going to go away quietly in the night. Would you? Right? You're going to fight to the end.
Right.
And so you have this massive civil war break out in America, but not just America, Europe as well. Think about why Donald Trump hates Europe so much. Because he sees Europe as a source of transnational capital. Right? So civil war is going to break out in Europe as well. So what's happening is that the EU, Brussels, is completely controlled by transnational capital. But who is Donald Trump promoting in Europe? He's promoting Poland, Hungary, Austria. He's promoting like these nationalist parties in Germany, AFD, Vox in Spain, Marine Le Pen's party in France. That's where the civil war is going to be. So the grand irony of all this is that Putin and Trump are aligned. They want to move the world towards a more nationalistic and the globalists are the ones fighting back.
Right.
So it's not a war between America and Russia. It's a war between the globalists in America who are aligned with the globalists in Europe, the globalists in China, the globalists in Russia, versus the nationalists in these countries.
Education is such a scam. Why do the elites pay millions of dollars to get their kids into schools?
Okay, I'm going to 100% prove and explain to you how the Mandela effect works and why we've all experienced this and why it's so shocking. So look at this. You remember Pikachu? Didn't he have that black spot on his tail? Nope. Go try to find a picture of him with a black spot on his tail. There's no black spot. Looney Tunes. Wasn't it Tunes with 2 O's? Nope. It's apparently always been Tunes. Chick-fil-A? You thought that it was Chick, C-H-I-C. Nope. C-H-I-C-K. Fruit of the Loom. Wasn't there a cornucopia? Nope. Okay, why are we all collectively remembering this wrongly? And I'll tell you how it works. My brother says to me, he has an old VHS of Star Wars A New Hope when Darth Vader says, Luke, I am your father. But if you rewatch the tape, he now says, no, I am your father. He does not say, Luke, I am your father. So he said, how the hell is that possible? Because I have this tape, I remember it, and the tape never went anywhere. It's a VHS. It's not, no one changed it. I said, you got it all wrong. It's not that they went back and changed this stuff. It's that growing up, we were on a timeline where this is how all these things were. And by the way, there's a million other Mandela effects. This is only a few. And there's some that I bet we haven't even realized yet. Like the Monopoly guy has a monocle. Remember he had a monocle, one glass? He doesn't have one anymore. Check your old 30-year-old freaking Monopoly games. He doesn't have one. So it's not that they're going and changing these things and editing old tapes. It's that we are on a different timeline now, which I know is kind of a strange thought, but time, keep in mind, it's not linear, right? Like it's the past, the present, the future all exist at the same time. So it's not that they're changing things and trolling you. It's that we were on one timeline where Curious George had a tail, and now he doesn't have a tail. Go look at all your old pictures, anything you can. He doesn't have one anymore. We are on a different timeline. What that means is, I don't really fully know. I just know that things are different now than the exact same timeline that we were growing up with. And one of the craziest Mandela effects is actually on the Mona Lisa, which many grandparents of ours and our parents even remember her having a slight smile on her face. But now she looks more, not smiley. So it extends further than just modern pop culture and junk food and stuff. It could be even bigger than we imagine.
Assembly Bill 1777 allows police to issue citations to autonomous vehicles. Before this law was passed, officers were only allowed to cite vehicles with drivers. Now law enforcement will issue notices of non-compliance when robotaxis don't obey traffic laws. The DMV will then review the incident, then decide if action needs to be taken by the company operating the vehicle. The law goes into effect July 1st.
The fact that this law is going into effect July 1st lets you know how serious they are about driverless vehicles. They literally don't want you behind the wheel.
Brett, you mentioned that this keeps you up at night. Tell us why.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jesse. The reason it does is twofold. One is the fact that this type of technology is not man-made. It's nothing that we can build or have built or are using out there. And the fact that we're seeing it so prevalently on a regular basis globally makes it a national security threat. Additionally, the fact that it is out in our airspace and all around as travel is moving on, that it is a flight safety issue as well. And it's something that needs to be continued to be pressed, needs to be addressed and tracked.
If money is the root of all evil, then why is God saying he will reward us with gold for believing in him when we get to heaven?
Freemasonry.
Maybe one of the balls, light him up.
No one was standing behind her, no draft, no string, no obvious explanation.
Maybe one of the balls, light him up, move him.
The group had already reported unusual readings on their equipment throughout the investigation, but this moment stood apart. It wasn't a flickering light or a vague sound, it was physical contact captured clearly on video.
In China, McDonald's has opened a restaurant where you have to ride a bicycle while you eat, and eating without cycling is strictly forbidden. Looking at this, people think customers are getting their exercise in while devouring plenty of food. However, that's not the case at all. In reality, pedaling these cycles generates electricity, which is then used to charge your mobile phones.
China really has thought of it all. I mean, if they implemented that in America, maybe we wouldn't be as obese as we are.
Oh, what's that? An extra moon. We have one. For the next couple of months, we're gonna have a new bonus moon. Last month, scientists detected a new asteroid headed towards the region of Earth. It's about 33 feet wide, so about the size of an RV. And look at this orbit. It's going to completely circle the Earth over the next 2 months, which makes it a moon. And then it's going to leave again. This asteroid was going to be nearby, and Earth's gravity was strong enough to grab it and bring it in for a quick orbit, but not strong enough to completely capture it and make it a permanent moon at the trajectory and speed it was traveling. I don't know where it came from, I don't know where it's going, I don't know what it's made of, but I do know it's an asteroid and it's not going to hit us. And you're just going to have to believe me that the moon is there, because it's going to be too small and too far away to see it without equipment. This isn't actually that weird, it's happened quite a few other times, and Earth currently has 7 other quasi-satellites, which are like kind of moons, but they don't just orbit Earth, so they're not moons. The moon is Earth's only true child.
This guy was shadowboxing when the shadow decided to box back at him.
So it's a blue moon right now, and for whatever reason the reflections on my window are creating like 6 other moons reflections, or bokeh, or whatever you want to call it. It's like lens flares, but usually with lens flares and reflections, if I move one direction, then the flare or the bokeh goes, the other way, or keeps going, based on my movement. But this, they're orbiting. They're not like moving away from the lens like lens flares normally do. They're just like orbiting the center object, or the main source, the reflection source. I've never seen that, and it just happens to be the blue moon right now. What do you guys think?
Did someone capture this video of Paul Walker in between this supposed deadly car crash and going into hiding?
Well, that wasn't even me. It was some other dude. They thought it was me.
No, this is... now you're playing with me.
Oh, I swear to God.
You swear? Okay.
They thought it was me, and it wasn't even me.
Now, what's interesting to me is not too long after that car crash, a certain person came onto the scene and all of a sudden started directing movies. A certain person by the name of Tim Ballard. Maybe you've heard of him. He directed The Sound of Freedom. And he resembles someone an awful lot. So much so that you barely realize there are 2 different faces there. And while you can change some things easily, like a beard and even the color of the eyes, and even haircuts and nose and ear size can be manipulated, sometimes there's just too many things to catch them all. Especially those pesky little birthmarks. To there, and to there, and to there, and to there.
Every time you go on an airplane international, whether arriving or leaving, 3 days before the plane takes off, airlines are responsible for giving the manifest the names of every person who bought a ticket on that airplane to the U.S. government with their passport information. And then when that airplane is in the air, 1 hour before landing or 1 hour after leaving, the airlines are again responsible for providing a manifest of every person on that airline. And passport information gets all matched up. So the government's watching, and they know exactly who's coming and who's leaving and when.
Scientists in Japan have just created something that will literally change the world. This is absolutely incredible. So scientists in Japan have been researching something and have actually made something completely unreal. They've created a new plant-based plastic that stays extremely strong while you use it, meaning your water bottle will be much more durable. But it doesn't end there, because the second it ends up in salt water, it actually starts breaking down incredibly fast. In demonstrations and tests that were done, small pieces reportedly dissolved in under an hour under radiation,
radiation. And the reason this matters so much is because most so-called biodegradable plastics obviously leave behind a lot of microplastics, leaving these things flooding the bottom of our oceans, killing the wildlife and destroying our planet, really. Tiny particles that even can end up inside the human body. But the team behind this study says that their material breaks down into components that are processed by naturally occurring bacteria, meaning it's designed to avoid leaving behind any microplastic fragments at all. And what's even crazier is, as I say, this isn't some kind of weak plastic like the whole damn paper straw thing, like, mate. This will actually be durable and usable, but when you're done with it, it will dissolve itself and leave nothing behind. The scientists behind this are from Riken and the University of Tokyo, and they're now working on ways to coat the material so it can be used like normal plastic packaging in the real world and start selling this out to the market. So yeah, if this scales properly, it could be what everybody thought eco-plastic was supposed to do and actually work. Hit that follow button, I'll keep you updated.
Okay, so this guy asked Rock if celebrities are fallen angels, and this is what it said. Watch this.
It all starts with the original rebellion. Lucifer, the morning star, gets jealous, wants the throne, convinces a third of the angels to follow him. That's hundreds of millions of celestial beings. When they get cast out of heaven, they don't just float around in some abstract hell. They need a physical foothold on earth to operate. So they set up their base in what would become Los Angeles, the city of lost angels. These fallen ones, they're not just chilling. They're shapeshifters, energy vampires. They figured out how to hijack human bloodlines, especially the elite ones. That's why the same families keep running everything for centuries. The same demonic souls keep reincarnating into new bodies, which is why you see those identical historical lookalikes. The Hollywood sign originally said Hollywood Land. Hollywood, the wood of the holy tree used in magic rituals. They inverted it, made it about creating false idols, the stars. We literally put these possessed celebrities on pedestals while the real celestial bodies get ignored. The Walk of Fame, that's a graven image ritual. Every time someone steps on those stars, they're unknowingly participating in the worship. The music, the movies, the awards shows, it's all satanic ritual. The red carpets represent the blood they need to stay in these bodies. The flashing lights and frequencies in the films, that's how they keep the masses in a trance. They've been running this game for thousands of years. The Illuminati isn't some new thing. It's just the latest front for these fallen entities trying to corrupt humanity before the final reckoning.
Shit's crazy. I mean, all that lines up pretty good. I mean, I got to test this against my own grok and see what it says. There's this guy that I follow on Facebook. His name's Tyler Hansen, and he's got a lot of videos talking about conspiracy, exposing darkness, fallen angels, celebrities, clones, doppelgangers, UFOs, aliens, the whole deal. And a lot of people believe him. His videos are very convincing, but we do know that Jesus Christ is the answer and the only answer, folks. Like and follow for more.
Abaddon is this most curious fallen angel. His name literally means destroyer, and he comes from the book of Revelation, where he receives a key. This key unlocks the shaft to the bottomless pit. So as soon as the angel opens it, this thick black smoke comes spewing out. Before these locust-like beings emerge, they only answer to one master, the angel over the abyss, Abaddon. Now, this is where it gets quite interesting, because there's this organization named CERN. They study the very building blocks of our universe, but rumor has it that CERN is also in the business of parallel universes. See, in this theory, scientists have been trying to open up a portal into another universe, only in truth, this only opens up a doorway into the abyss, the very same abyss from the book of Revelation. Now, according to the Bible, Abaddon means destroyer, but what actually blows my mind is this statue located at CERN headquarters. This statue is from an Eastern god named Shiva, and Shiva is also conveniently known as being the...
Before we watch, this is a very interesting video, okay? I don't really know what to make of it. The entity looks really big. However, the thing is, there's a bunch of light surrounding the area where it is. So check this out. We're going to talk through it. I don't know what that is. It looks to be holding an umbrella, and watch, when it goes back to the right, what on the planet Earth is that? Look at that thing. I don't know what that is. Is it a shadow figure? It looks really clear. I'm not sure. But I can tell you the other thing. I would not be that close to whatever that is.
I'm Elvis, but I don't want to hear no more about it from anybody. Amen? Amen. Is that all right with everybody?
This old pastor has finally admitted that he is Elvis. For years, many people have believed that Bob Joyce is actually Elvis. What's even more unbelievable is that Elvis's ex-girlfriend is now Bob Joyce's wife. The resemblance between the two is astonishing, and Bob Joyce's musical talent perfectly matches Elvis's. In fact, anyone who has heard Bob sing would believe he is Elvis. Some claim to have seen Bob Joyce at Graceland during Christmas. He even appeared at Elvis's daughter's funeral. People speculate that he chose to live a simple, quiet life in his later years. It's reported that he has a scar on his face from a motorcycle accident during the filming of Rusty Boot. Bob Joyce has an identical scar in the same spot, suggesting they might be the same person. Both are 6 feet tall. Their posture, even the way they walk or stand, is a perfect match. People think Bob Joyce is too young to be Elvis Presley, but Bob Joyce's birthday post confirms that he is 89 years old. If Elvis were still alive, he would be 89 this year. They are the same age.
Now I understand why the United States don't want us to see anything that's going on in China. So I guess we're not supposed to talk about the fact that Chinese cars are 100% better than American cars. Chinese cars are way more advanced and they're cheaper. America is supposed to be #1 in tech, but we don't see this. Chinese cars are built better. Have you seen some of these Chinese cars? Matter of fact, look at this. Tell me what American car you've seen with features like this. Look at this.
Comes with its own infotainment.
Come on,
and
man.
when I press this button,
look at this.
That's a privacy screen. When you look right there, that lifts up. China is not playing around
At all. Over here, this would be $1 million.
And all of this costs less than $100,000.
That's not it.
In this Chinese SUV,
This is cheaper than that.
Once you remove the headrest, you can fold the seats completely flat.
Come
That
on.
way you can really stretch out and recline while you
Come
enjoy the
on.
next movie. Or you can place a mattress that goes on top
A
of the
mattress?
seats for when you want to spend quality time with the wife
Come
and start
on.
that family.
You got Elon over here acting like he the electric car guru. The electric cars in China, batteries last forever. And you get all of this for the low. Their prices are way cheaper than America's prices. Why is this? Now you gotta ask yourself, how much longer are we supporting this? How much longer are we gonna support United States automakers? Compared to Chinese cars, they are selling us garbage. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're working on something different that we don't know about. I'm out.
So the following video was a recording of a soldier that was in Iraq, deployed in 2010 in May. He was FaceTiming his family, and he had some strange experiences. This is what he experienced.
Trish, I love you. I wish I could be home with you too. I know we.
Bro ran out of that room. It looks like he's in a chew. Yeah, I would request to be moved to a different room like immediately if it was possible. Probably wouldn't have a choice, but that would be one of those. I probably wouldn't be sleeping in there that night. That's for damn sure.
Jacob inherited an old house from his grandmother, which contains some creepy old dolls, and he doesn't feel comfortable living inside the place. And late one night, we find out exactly why, when he is awoken to a rather strange sound coming from within his bedroom. So he pulls out his phone and starts to record, and this is what he captured.
I just heard knocking from the closet.
Jacob hears a banging sound coming from the closet, but upon checking he finds nothing there, and just seconds later he hears more banging coming from the door on the other side. At this point he is overcome with fear and quickly runs out of the side door. However, the creepiest thing was noticed after he rewatched the video. When Jacob wakes up from his bed, we can see that the clown doll is facing straight towards the bed. But once he comes out from the closet, we can see it staring to the side right at him. Since this day, Jacob has moved the doll downstairs away from his bedroom, but I'm not quite sure why you would have a creepy doll staring at your bed to begin with. So hopefully he learned a lesson.
And the lesson is grown men shouldn't keep dolls in their house, especially if they live alone.
This just really been tripping me out. It's been doing this since the solar eclipse, I would say. And I don't really believe in ghosts. But this shit is really fucking with me. Look at this. It just stops. There ain't nothing going on. Look. What the fuck? What the actual Bro, there's no way. Wait, I'm gonna leave the light on. What the shit's really freaking me out, y'all. If you've ever seen anything like this before, please let me know.
Alright, so I've been taking some of you guys' advice. I got my holy water right here. I'm gonna insert the holy water into my water gun. Alright. And I got I'll just put it in the thing. I got the cross like you guys said, dude. I didn't really have any real wood, but
see, the thing is, I don't even know if I'm actually hitting my op. Like, I feel like it's coming from over here. It don't do it when the door is closed. Like, it does not do it. I look stupid as oh my God. I need to get out the house.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
I'm from South Carolina. I've seen so much supernatural stuff. I done had the hag ride me. One story I tell a lot is my homeboy, God bless the dead, his name was Scrap. He dropped me off at the end of my dirt road, and I was walking down the dirt road, and something told me to start walking a little bit faster. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I start walking a little bit faster. And something tells me to start jogging, so I start jogging. And something tells me to take off running, so I took off running. And as I'm running, I look back and I see these little footprints coming after me in the dirt road, like little footprints. And right as I'm about to jump into my mom's yard, I feel something grab me on my shoulder. And when I did like this, I felt my hands knock something off my shoulder. And I come banging on the door. My sister's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Yo," she was like, "Yo, what's you just saw a ghost?" I said, "I think so." You know how people play, like, "What's wrong with you? You just saw a ghost?" Like, "I think so."
This man is possessed by over 4,000 demons, and he can unknowingly curse anyone around him. A spiritual mentor named Chris shared this experience. He and a friend were walking behind their hotel after dinner when they saw a street performer dressed oddly. Tourists gave him coins, and he would shake their hands, then place a hand on their heads. Chris immediately felt something wasn't right. He then prayed to God, asking to see the abnormalities that ordinary people couldn't see, and noticed a black cobweb-like cloud surrounding the performer. Some call this black magic or sorcery. The performer muttered under his breath, blinking rapidly. Chris believed he was absorbing the life energy of everyone he touched. The mask he wore resembled a cursed artifact, hinting he was hiding behind the street performer persona. Chris also said the man claimed to have over 4,000 demons attached to him, suggesting voluntary participation in an occult ritual. Not every street performer practices sorcery, of course, but it makes you wonder, what do we miss in the world around us? Watching him from a distance was unsettling, Chris said, and having him place a hand on someone's head, almost unimaginable. So what do you think? Just a bizarre stranger on the street or something truly otherworldly lurking in plain sight? Would you have realized it if you were there? Share your thoughts.
During this hot weather, a girl named Urgi decided to go on a nature trip with her friend and take a dip in Liang Cave, located in the Philippines. At first, they explore and have some fun around the cave. Then they head inside the cave and realize that it's completely empty. So she uses this opportunity to take a video of herself in the cave when she captures something deeply unsettling. At the end of the cave, you can see a pale grey face partially submerged in the water with glowing eyes, just staring straight at the two girls. You can see Urgi was instantly startled the moment she noticed the face and turned around with her hand on her chest. She also mentions that the water is so clear that they could see underneath it, so they should have been able to see the person's body if it was a man, but they never did. And the face then submerged, and they waited at the entrance for a long time and stayed there for another hour playing, but they never saw anybody surface or come out of the cave. Another group then went in the cave, and when they came out, she asked if they had seen anybody else in there, and the group replied there was nobody else there. So just who or what is this?
All I know is if her and her friends would have stuck around long enough, they would have messed around and found out.
7 of our most famous founding fathers, 17 of our presidents. Our nation was literally molded by them. And the truth is, you know nothing about them. You think they follow the wisdom and teachings of King Solomon. Want to know how wild this is? A fraternity with a lodge in almost every town in America that's been around hundreds, if not thousands of years. And the one thing you thought you knew about them is literally the opposite. King Solomon is symbolically the villain of Freemasonry. And the man that is idolized and followed by this group, you've never heard of. He's mentioned a couple times in the Bible as a simple worker of brass from Tyre. His name's Hiram Abiff. Even most Masons don't know who the hell he is until they get to the 3rd degree, the Master Mason ritual, where the person is blindfolded and physically has to act out the myth of Hiram. In this famous story, 3 of the low-level workers surround Hiram, and they demand he gives them the master word, the supreme secret word of the builder. Hiram refuses. In doing so, he chooses a violent and brutal death. And that secret word that he chose to die over is the same word in the Freemason logo, that G. Most Masons think it means God or geometry. It means gnosis, Greek for knowledge, referring to the religion of Freemasonry, Gnosticism, which is, in layman's terms, the God of the Bible is evil. He has trapped humanity in this cage, and the only way to break out of it and become a God yourself is to break the rules that God has given us. These aren't dumb men. They believe there is enough evidence that there is this Promethean God who is the light bringer, the knowledge bringer. Hiram is a descendant of him. In Kabbalah and Gnostic mythology, the serpent actually gets it on with Eve, and Cain is the serpent's son, not Adam's. And he goes on to have descendants, and Hiram is one of them. So essentially, they're worshiping the bloodline of the devil. This has always been the elite's ideology. When you look into how this fiery serpent is tied to literally every pagan religion, the similarities from Egypt to Canaan to the Bible, they believe it is different stages of this same deity, helping humanity with its war against God.
Is being reformed. There's a situation when millions of people are about to lose their jobs or will be forced to change their areas of employment. Whole professions might go extinct, replaced, when humans will be replaced by artificial intelligence. A number of areas related to automation, preparing and analyzing documents, writing code, AI is already replacing junior specialists. And in the near future, It looks well poised to replace middle personnel. This process is irreversible and inevitable. Progress is not standing still, and we must be ready for upcoming changes.
Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. If you haven't already, do me the biggest favor and hit that like button for me, hit that hype button, and subscribe if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, man. And there should be another rabbit hole for you to go ahead and jump down if you're ready for another good conspiracy. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.